Today, I'll be telling you why you should not pull for Phainon, and instead invest into the three supports on his banner. This is the first time a pull analysis is titled like this. The verdict has never been this clear about a character's worth since Phaixiao's banner a year ago. While she has insane value, Phainon is kinda the opposite. But before that, let me introduce you to the best platform for recharging Stellar Jades, LD Shop. On LD Shop, you can purchase Stellar Jades at an extremely cheap rate compared to in-game. Using LD Shop, you can save up to 33% or even more when recharging your Honkai Star Rail accounts. Today, I'll be buying this Jade pack that only costs $39.35 compared to the in-game price of $50. All you need to do is give LD Shop your account UID and region, send your payment, and the Stellar Jades will be sent straight to your account in less than a minute. On top of that, if you recharge up to $80 in a month, you can get a supply pass for free straight from the website, which can be treated as another $5 discount on any purchase. Even if you use VPN method, you can never get a cheaper price than LD Shop with the free supply pass. There's no reason to not use this website. People who say there are risks to doing this are complete idiots that don't know how it works. I swear on my channel's integrity that you will not be banned or scammed. Don't forget to register using my link in the description for an extra 15% off coupon. I hope you would recharge on this website after registering using my link because that's the best way to support my channel as YouTube's ad revenue is genuinely horrendous. Anyways, before I completely destroy Phainon, I'll first let you know that there is in fact some positives, albeit very few. If you pull E6S5, you would be able to solo Zero Cycle Shield MOC without any teammates because his boost from team isn't high. Also, his energy-giving trace actually makes him useful in helping other DPS achieve 0 AV clears, since it's basically like having a Rame Lycone on your team. There's even an achievement locked to either Phainon or Mighty, which forces achievement hunters to pull for him, but honestly, I would rather give up on max achievements for a few patches and wait for it to come in events or something because there's no way I'm wasting pulls in this patch for that. Now, on to why you shouldn't pull for Phainon. He's basically known by now as the Firefly of 3.x, which means his optimization opportunity is so low that even if you make a literal dog choose between two treats in real life and correlate it to his skill usage in-game, you'll be able to play him almost perfectly. I might actually test this if someone is willing to record themselves with their dog. His relic ceiling is also notoriously bad because of his oversaturation in buffs, meaning his ceiling is even lower because the value you get from relics is lower than the average DPS. And on top of that, he's also hard to build too. If you've seen the deceptive showcases in his beta, you would know that he doesn't benefit much from attack substats. Which is why showcases would say 35 substats, but a vast majority of it is into crit only, avoiding attack like the plague. Those builds are harder to get than builds with 40 substats with more attack because you're basically operating with only 2 effective substats. Phainon is like this because of his attack oversaturation, meaning the value he gets from attack is half of that from crits, which is ridiculous because for the vast majority of DPSs, their third scaling stat like attack or health is usually really close to crits, if not equal in some scenarios. People might think, just because he has some low-cost zero cycles, that he isn't that bad, but might I remind you that Firefly also had low-cost zero cycles on her release due to the intense shilling. Phainon on this MLC can snapshot the buff to make him have permanent 40% damage boost, while other characters can't since it only lasts for a single turn, which is suspiciously tailored towards him. On the second half, he's even able to snapshot another 50% damage buff from a elite, which is supposed to only last for one attack. That means against Hule, he basically get a literal extra Bronia in terms of buff, meaning he's playing with 4 supports instead of 3. This is not mentioning the fact that both sides have a very high hit frequency, which also benefits Phainon greatly. And yet, even with all these shilling, Phainon failed to be the best DPS on any MLC since his release. Even on Hule, he's matched bar for bar by Yunli, who also got a 2 cost 0 cycle when shielded, which means under equal conditions, he can't even be an average DPS from version 2.x. This is giving me vibes of when Firefly got matched by Serval on her shield boss. This gets worse next MLC, when he gets shielded even harder by Turbulence, but still got beaten by multiple DPSs. Phainon, in theory, might be able to 1 cost 0 cycle Hule if you hacked his crit rate to be 100% on beta while rolling everything into crit damage. But at that point, there's no point in discussing it. Even I don't take these into consideration. Yunli would also be able to do that under the same conditions. Remember when Casterus got shielded? She was the best DPS for 4 consecutive MLC nodes. Tribulus 2 cost Reaver, 1 cost Kafka, who hard counters her in terms of layouts, low hit frequency and no weakness, 1 cost Pollux with an off-path LC, and lastly, she's able to also 1 cost Banana without abusing its mechanics. While I didn't post the banana clear, its effective HP for AoE units like casters is far lower than the likes of Kafka, which casters already 1 cost 0 cycled. The only RNG is on wave 1 bounce right about here. If it's concentrated on middle target, she can bridge dragon to wave 2 and win easily with 4 dragons. I didn't feel like resetting because for some reason all my Casterus videos do terribly, but that doesn't take away from the fact that her performance is ridiculously good. I have no bias against her despite the low views. Remember that Phainon was not able to be the best even on one node since his release despite everything is already set up perfectly for him. If we look at the less favorable MLCs for Phainon like Nicodor or Reaver that time-traveling beta testers tested on, he does extremely terribly, only being able to 3-cost both of them. I'm not going to bring up Zila here because it's a tad unfair for him, but I will bring up Phainon instead of her because she also got hard countered. Phainon, despite also not being able to break Nicodor's pillars without wasting a lot of damage, can still 2 cost 0 cycle even without Tribi Wheelchair on her team, meaning that under the equal conditions of being countered and boss not having weakness, Phainon lost to another 2.x DPS. 2 times you give this fraud DPS equal conditions with an older DPS and he either lost or got matched. The Yunli situation isn't even equal since she doesn't even get an extra Bronya buff. I won't mention his Pollux performance since unlike the casuals I'm arguing against, I don't have any double standards. It's been decided Pollux is a meaningless boss, so even though he takes dozens of costs to 0 cycle it, I won't hold it against him. What I will hold against him is his performance against Something Onto Death, the DOT boss that will most likely be returning sooner or later since DOT is making a comeback. This boss basically kills him and takes him out of state, meaning you pretty much can't win against it with Phainon if he's not being wheelchaired. This is a huge anti-feat because if everyone else can do something relatively easily and you specifically can't, it's a disability. It goes to show how this DPS is very weather dependent. A strong breeze can blow him away, and he needs perfect conditions to even compete. All this to say, his feats are honestly lackluster and needs to be looked at with a mountain of salts. It is honestly not impressive in the slightest if you look deeper into what made them possible. He's a DPS hard carried solely by multipliers with 0 mechanics since after you get his stacks, you can straight up AFK. Now, I've seen many people straight up accuse me of doom posting for attention and clicks. For those people, I bestow upon you the enchanted and imbued variants of the Amulet of Retardancy because you guys earned it. Do you know how content creators in the gacha space makes money? Let me tell you, it's not from fucking clicks or ad revenue. A vast majority of income flow is actually from sponsorships. Ad revenue for me isn't even 10% of my total income. And guess what my main sponsorship is? Exactly, a top-up website that incentivizes spending. And yet, I'm still doom posting, meaning I've probably lost hundreds of dollars in sales commission. I literally have nothing to gain and everything to lose from doing this. But I value my audience. I value the truth. Integrity is far more important to me than money. There are some things in this world that no amount of money can get you. Take my next statement with a grain of salt, but I've heard rumors that Hoyoverse have been calling their creators with access to CE to not emphasize on zero cycle clears for Phainon, or more accurate zero turn clears since that's what Chinese people call it. And also to not compare his team damage output with other DPSs like Casterus, for example. I definitely do not have any connection with anyone in Hoyo creators, so these are just rumors in the end. But honestly, if it's true, it's baffling because this is literally propaganda. Hoyoverse is basically treating us like easily manipulable puppets. But we are not puppets, we are humans, and humans are capable of free thinking. Next, I'll be telling you why the supports are better pull value even though it's pretty obvious by now. First up, we got Sparkle, who is a specialist support, shaping up to be the best in slot for Archer, who is one of, if not the most broken upcoming DPS by virtue of being a Hunt DPS. So pulling Sparkle right now would be a ridiculously good investment if you're planning to use Archer, since you would be able to get both Archer and his light cone for free, meaning you can spend pulls on supports instead to make him even more broken than he is. Now, as for Sunday, he's actually still criminally underrated. People see a lot of showcases with Triby and not him, and for some reason thinks he's bad when he isn't. He's best in slots in quite a lot of teams aside from summoners like Aglia and Tingyuan, such as Blade, Tingliu, Mighty, Boothill, and so on. People just look at him in casters teams and suddenly they think he's a bad unit all around when he isn't. At higher investments, the best team comp for most DPSs in Sustainless actually becomes Robin Sunday Tribicore, which goes to show that he actually stands among the Titans as a solid Harmony unit. Lastly, we have the one, the only Triby, the main Harmony of 3.x. This girl needs no introduction. Even using her in your team is considered wheelchair in this day and age, so I won't elaborate much. All I'll say is, she has the most broken E1 in the game, which can straight up go up to 100% damage increase in 5 target scenario with an AoE DPS since 24% of damage from 4 enemies gets funneled straight into the main boss, including the 24% damage increase already on said boss, meaning you double your damage with one idling. After hearing what the supports can do, you should be able to tell why these harmonies have far more value than Phainon. It's also well known that Harmony supports never ever get power crept, so their shelf life will beat any DPS in the game no matter how good they are, much less a DPS that is pretty bad. If you still want to pull Phainon because of animation and lore, then I can't blame you. All I do is give the best advice for meta. Nothing more, nothing less. In the end, pull for whoever you want to maximize your enjoyment. That's what I do on main game too. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.